I actually did something that I don't normally do, which I thought was really interesting. So I had these two kicks right here.
What up, Liz?
What's up? I'm Nazario. On this channel, I explore music business, tech, and creation. A few weeks ago, I released an instrumental single called Pressure Point. I wanted to talk a little bit about the creative process of making it, so that's what we're doing today. If that sounds like something you're curious about, then definitely hit a like on this video, and if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe for content like this and music business talk, and whatever else I decide to do videos on. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. And after you watch this video, or before, or in the middle, or whatever, whenever you want to watch it or listen, you can actually hear the full song on my YouTube channel. You can watch the visualizer video that I posted, or you can just go and add it to your playlist on your favorite streaming service. It's everywhere. Also, while you're at it, you might as well use that affiliate link for DistroKid to get 7% off your first year of membership with them. Okay, so that's all the business stuff. We got that out of the way. Now it's time to talk about Pressure Point. Right now, you're looking at the session for Pressure Point. I have a glare in my glasses, but we're gonna move on. There's a lot of tracks, but a lot of it is just percussive sounds that I kind of mix into the background, and then just me layering to make one sound. So it looks crazier than it really is. It's really a simple beat if you actually listen to it. I was working on another beat, and I ended up playing that riff with a synth sound that I had made, which is basically just Serum. I called this a stab bass when I made it because it sounded very short and synthy. So it's just a preset from Serum right here. This is BA Head Bus. I think it's one of the main presets that comes with Serum. And then I just wanted to kind of open it up a little bit. I put a little bit of delay on it. This is just the stock delay preset from Ableton. And then I also put Fab Filter on it to just add a little bit more space to the bass bars I can rap. I didn't want it to be a boomy sound because I know I was gonna put an 808 underneath it, so I actually cut out a lot of the low end. So it's a bass, but it's really a lead synth in reality. I also found this really weird sound from Splice that conveniently worked really well with the beat. So I needed to restructure it, so I ended up coming up with this pattern. And then when you get to that B section that I have, I actually end up jumping it up an octave. And I just like that weird kind of fragmented sound that sounds very distressed, if that makes sense. I knew that I wanted the actual 808 to just be able to cut off in an instant. So I used Sublab for this 808. This is basically my play on a preset that they had. I kind of just played around with it a little bit. I really like Sublab, honestly, because it gives me the ability to kind of have a little bit more control over the 808s. I use jump between this and then a contact preset that I have as well. The drums are really basically just like a 4-bar loop. They're really simple. It's not that complicated or anything like that. So I actually have 2 hi-hats going at once. I like to do things with multiple hi-hats for whatever reason.
I'm weird like that.
This one, which it's very short and very in your face, whereas in comparison to the other hi-hat, this one is still kind of short, but it feels more stereo imaged a little bit. And then I have this little just repeated notes right there. What are those, 16th notes? I don't, it's whatever. You get what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. When it comes to the percussion, I like to just kind of fill in gaps. My snare is basically 3 different snares together. Then at that point, it just has a je ne sais quoi. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I had these 2 kicks right here. But then on top of that, I put a stomp sound. I didn't want that stomp sound to keep the same pattern because it sounded a little annoying. So I ended up removing it in sections. So then you have the stomp sound and then the other kick where they're together, and then there's a section where they break apart and then they come back together. I've never really done that before. I thought it sounded really cool and interesting, so that's why I ended up keeping it. The other thing I did to add more movement to the track, I put in this rain stick sound effect. Very subtle and way in the background, so you may not even hear it. Altogether, the drums sound super simple, but there is still a lot going on. The goal that I had with this track was making everything sound cohesive. So part of me doing that was trying to make the 808 work with the drums and the drums work with the production. It's all about how you mix it. I'm a big fan of chords, and I'm also a really big fan of future bass, which you can really tell by this section of the song. Once you get past the intro, the chorus, if you want to call it that, is this
gigantic synth-heavy section that just stops and has space for you to breathe.
So this part of the track is actually a combination of a few different sounds and just the same chords layered. I found this VST called Tapex, which I thought sounded really cool, and I was just playing around with it. I just bought it at the time. Something that I've always been told about chords and just music in general is that it should have tension and release. So I had that chord progression where I had those first 4 chords, but I wanted it to get a little bit more intense before we go back into the next half of the song. So in order to do that, I just kind of changed the chords around a little bit. I don't know if anyone cares about music theory. There's just some stuff that I figured out along the way. If that is something you're interested in, then definitely put that in the comments below. And I might consider doing a video about music theory as a music producer and whether it's important or not. Serum was the next plugin that I ended up using for this production. I really like Serum, in case you couldn't tell by the fact that it's used all over this track. But I got this preset from ADSR, I believe that is the name of the website. They just have some super dope plugin presets and stuff like that for Serum, and I buy some from time to time. But something that I've really been interested in doing is making things sound wide and dynamic. So in order for me to do that, what I did was I actually made 2 copies of the same sound on Serum, and I panned one a little left and another one a little right. Together, that normally would just sound really loud. It wouldn't really have much dynamic because it's just the same sound, just on slightly different channels. So in order to make it feel wider, what I ended up doing was I put a little bit of sample delay on the second channel. So they're both playing at the same time, but this one is playing 20 milliseconds later. So the last thing that I ended up doing was I added on another string piano preset from the Tapex VST, and I had it up an octave higher so it would just kind of make that whole section sound brighter and larger. Then I wanted them to be sidechained to the kick so they would kind of feel like they're breathing. So I sidechained them to the kick. In order to make that section more interesting, I added a little melody on top of it. And that is literally just another Serum preset. Like I said, I love Serum. So the last section of this track is really just the first half, but I want it to sound different. So what I ended up doing was making a new sound to use in the second verse, if you want to call it that. It's a stab pipe sound, but I want it to have a little bit more bite and attack at the beginning. So I added a more piano key sound on top of it. It has that breathy sound, but it also has like a really good attack at the beginning. It's really just, once again,
Serum.
And that's how I made Pressure Point. It's not a complicated track at all, but I did want to show my process about creating sounds, layering sounds, how I put together my percussion and things like that. If you found this video interesting, definitely hit the like button to let me know. And if you want more music related content from me, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to know when I post my next video. If you want to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do that. The first way is by signing up for DistroKid with the link below. Gives you 7% off, so it's a win-win technically. And then also, I have a Patreon. I haven't really been talking about it because I don't know what I'm gonna be doing with it yet. But if you wanna be someone that helps build out how that's going to look, then sign up in the link below. I don't have anything else to talk about, so I'm just gonna stop talking. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya. When you have the drums and the 808 together, it sounds very, the goal that I had with this track was making everything sound cohesive.